Different date, same fate. I'ma knock out Jake Paul.
Different date, the same fate might knock out Jake Paul Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul is back with a new scheduled date, as the fight was previously postponed due to Iron Mike's deteriorating health. That many predicted would happen, however, Iron Mike Tyson delivered a war cry to Jake Paul for their now rescheduled November 15th fight. By suggesting he's going to kill the ex-YouTuber when they step into the ring he took to X, and posted the new poster of the fight, which mentioned the new rescheduled date, captioning it "New Date for Jake's Wake." But his opponent, Jake Paul, didn't stay behind, as he also posted the poster of their fight, stating that the new date won't change Tyson's fate on the fight night. He posted "New date, same place, same fate." The Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation gave the green light to the new fight night date, which will see Paul and Tyson compete over 8 2-minute rounds with 14 no gloves. That's different to the standard regulation of 12 3-minute rounds with 10 no gloves, as people look to protect Tyson's vulnerable age. Nikisa Badarian, co-founder of Most Valuable Promotions, said in a statement, "Our team has worked diligently with all parties involved to reschedule this monumental fight to a date that ensures both Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are fully prepared with equal training time, as well as allowing us to keep the event at NT Stadium." In the midst of the Cowboy season, Tyson suffered a medical scare last month on a plane scheduled to fly from Miami to Los Angeles. Tyson's representatives said that Tyson became nauseous and dizzy due to an ulcer flare-up about 30 minutes before the plane landed, but was in good condition now. But this wasn't the case, as the fight got postponed just after a few days of the incident, indicating that Mike hasn't fully recovered to compete on July 20th. Obviously devastating news. I'm heartbroken, speechless, like gutted. We've been working so hard over here, everyone in this camp. And I just feel bad for everyone involved in this event. The whole undercard, this is opportunity, has been ripped from all of us. But I do value Mike's health first and foremost. Love that guy, have so much respect for him. And I want Mike to be healthy. And he says he still is going to knock me out. And I bought myself some time, so Mike is still talking. __. Over there, but Mike, if you want to do this, like you said, behind closed doors, behind the scenes, you said you want to do this in Q4. You just need a little bit of time. So I'm ready whenever you're. This is too big of opportunity. I think this fight's going to change the world. And I turned all my L's into WS. That's a motel I live by. The universe makes no mistakes. So let's see what's in store. But sorry this didn't work out. To everyone, the fans love you guys. However, now that the fight is rescheduled to a new date of the 15th of November, Tyson says that the new date won't change the ending of their fight, that being Jake Paul getting brutally knocked out by Iron Mike. He stated, "Although we had to postpone the fight, I will resume training shortly. I am thankful to the medical staff that treated me. While we have a new date, the result will be the same no matter. When we fight, Jake Paul is getting knocked out still." There was a lot of backlash for the rescheduled date of this fight, as many fans want this fight to be canceled once and for all, considering it was always a controversial topic from the day it got announced. The main reason for many having a bad taste for this fight is because of the age and legacy difference between the two boxers. UFC president Dana White was never a big fan of this fight from the day it got announced. However, when asked what he has to say after the fight got postponed, Dana said that he has no comments for the first time ever about something. He added that it's Mike's world and his decision on how he wants to proceed with this fight. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul is delayed. I know you're close with Mike, I guess. Are you happy that they're looking out for his health in that instance? And do you even think it should be rescheduled, period, given this Aller flare-up? 100%. Yeah, obviously I know a lot about it, but I'm not going to talk about it publicly. Yeah, yeah, I for the first time, probably ever in my life, I have no comment on something. That's Mike's world. And he gets pissed at me every time I talk about that stuff. Good for him. and they'll figure it out. But now, when the fight is rescheduled, Dana has some harsh words to say about this fight, calling it ridiculous, he stated. When this fight happens, Tyson will be 58 years old. A almost 60-year-old guy shouldn't be fighting a 27-year-old guy under any circumstances. Even if it's Mike Tyson, it's ridiculous. Dana also mocked Jake Paul for not fighting someone who's his age and caliber. He recalled Jake's loss to Tommy Fury and said that Jake doesn't go on that route again because he knows he'd lose again. My biggest problem with the Jake Paul thing is, and how this plays out is when he actually fought somebody who was a boxer who had the same type of record he has, who is his age, Tommy, and who is his size, lost, yeah. So they're never going to go that route again, right? Close fight. And they're trying to pull this whole narrative. Like when I saw some guy the other day say we need going to stop fighting gimmick. Fights you going to call Mike Tyson a gimmick? Yeah, is a gimme. But if I'm him, I would never. Oscar De La Hoya also sheds light on this criticism of Jake Paul by saying that Jake Paul should fight top contenders and young fighters in order to establish himself as a credible boxer. If Jake Paul wants to be a real fighter, then take on real fights, take on contenders, take on top 10, take on fighters who are young fighters who are ranked in our boxing system. That's the way you do it, Jake, you knows. So I'm not dissing you, I'm not saying anything bad, I respect you. Because you love boxing, and anybody who loves boxing, I have to respect. C.H. Sonnen says that Jake Paul should fight at the previously scheduled date of July 20th, with a different opponent to further promote his fight with Tyson that will now take place on November 15th. We move the date as opposed to keeping July 20th, doing something July 20th. And then also, right, I mean, if Paul goes out there and fights somebody, then July 20th just turns into a great big marketing piece for Paul versus Tyson. Like, there's a way to preserve this and have it all protected. But when you switch them, when you cancel the date off the board, and then you put it over here, it's a very different feel with a very different, while almost the entire combat sport world feels that Tyson is putting his health at serious risk by fighting an active boxer less than half his age. Former UFC light heavyweight champion Rampage Jackson reckons that he will have too much hour early and will make Paul quit. He stated Mike Tyson is going to knock him out within 2 rounds. Mike Tyson is going to win. Mike Tyson has been boxing longer than Jake Paul has been alive. You ever seen that viral video where the old white man beats the out of the young white dude? That's what I think's going to happen now that the fight is rescheduled. There were many pros who'd put forward themselves as the replacement for Tyson if the fight didn't happen and get their chance at glory. British boxing legend Amir Khan insisted he would step in for Tyson providing Paul comes down. And wait, he stated, if the weights are right, I would step in for Mike Tyson. I don't mind giving away 20 albs, it just depends on the weight. Because I know Jake has put on a lot of weight to fight Mike. Jake's not normally that big, but he's put on a lot of mass, so it depends on him whether he's willing to lose that weight. And we find some middle ground somewhere. Amir Khan is also expected to make his return to the ring against another rival of Jake Paul. KSI Khans says that he has no say in replacing Tyson. But if the fight goes through, and after he deals with KSI, he can knock out Jake Paul. Khan added, let's see. But I've had no calls about that, so I assume they're still hoping to fight Mike. He's not going to want to take a beating before that, but it's KSI who has been speaking the big game. And once he's taken a beating, and if I'm going to do that, I may as well bang both of them out. I take on KSI first, and then knock Jake Paul out after that. Let's see how he looks against Mike Tyson. If he gets knocked out badly, I wouldn't entertain it. But if he looks really good, then it would be worth entertaining. Roy Jones Jr., who fought Tyson in an unscored exhibition match 4 years ago, also expressed his interest in stepping in as Tyson's replacement. Jones Jr., a former multi-division world champion, revealed his willingness to take on Paul. Dating, I'm kind of thinking about that. I might try and get into shape. In case that happens, Roy said that he's willing to get in shape and face Paul. If the fight between Jake and Tyson gets canceled, he added, maybe I get myself in shape, for that I never thought about doing it before. But with the situation of the fight, I think that's a great idea, and I'll be ready and in shape. Because if the fight doesn't happen, then the ideal guy to substitute in place of Mike Tyson to fight Jake Paul is something I have been thinking about if the fight is out there. Then yes, Jones retired from professional boxing 6 years ago, but made a return last September for a one-off fight against former UFC champion Anthony Pettis, where he lost on points. However, Jones believes that if he gets in shape and fights Jake Paul, by replacing Tyson, it would be one of the biggest fights of the decade. I would jump on it. But now that this thing has come up, it makes sense to get into shape with Jake Paul. And it would be one of the biggest fights of this decade, former UFC legend.